Yogeshwara's cloth. So this cloth, basically, Arun Yogeshwara took him to another dimension, and this cloth materialized into what we see as reality here. So it's a material in which you cannot find within this realm, and simply by touching it, I experienced this bliss that was just I don't know how to describe it, but it's so unreal. And I haven't shared that with really anyone, just the close people with me. And just even talking about it right now, I feel so grateful. I mean, yeah, so that's an experience that I had. And yeah, just that night in Anandapuri is completely unforgettable. So all of you devotees out there and disciples and people who are looking to come to inner awakening, experience that ambience and the feeling that the universe is completely taking care of you. Just don't think, come to inner awakening, and really be ready to be swallowed up by the love of the universe. That's how I would explain it. Nithyananda, thank you.
Such a beautiful experience of exactly what Swamiji told us Nithyananda Yogam is all about. When Swamiji began that program, he explained that Nithyananda Yogam is his gift to his disciples and devotees to allow us to experience what he experienced with Arunagiri Yogeshwara. So how amazing that not only Sahadeva and so many of us are experiencing that with Swamiji, but we actually get to touch that cloth that's a physical manifestation of the other dimensional plane into which Arunagiri Yogeshwara brought our Swamiji. So as he was saying, if you all want to have a similar experience or to understand this, actually, even before coming, if this is something new to you, I highly recommend you do a search in YouTube for the words Arunagiri Yogeshwara. Definitely what's going to come up is a video in which Swamiji shares his experience. It is one of the sweetest stories of all time. I know so many people get tears in their eyes when they hear about a seeker finding the guru, and I've heard from a lot of people in previous inner awakenings that reading the stories of others, reading about how other people connected with the master, whether that's how Yogananda found his guru in Autobiography of a Yogi, or how Swami Vivekananda found Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, when we hear these stories about how someone connects with the enlightened being or the avatar in our case, it just awakens that deep, intense yearning to share that same kind of an experience. So if you haven't yet heard Swamiji's story from his own mouth, please do search YouTube for Arunagiri Yogeshwara. You won't be disappointed. Next, I would like to invite Jessica, who's here attending a program called YouTube Ananda Yogam. This is a special program in which a group of Swamiji's disciples, inner awakening graduates, are all starting their own YouTube channels. So they're really becoming public figures, sharing their experiences with the world. I would like to invite Jessica to come share her favorite video she's done so far, how this process is helping her connection with Swamiji, and maybe she can tell us a little bit about what has become her most popular YouTube video.
Nithyananda, this is Jessica, and I'm currently at YouTube Ananda Yoga program. So I would like to share my experiences. Which one is my favorite YouTube video that I made so far? That would be how I found my guru. Just a little bit of background. In 2009, I was living in California, close to LA Temple, and I was exploring religions, and I came across Hinduism, and I was very interested in Ganesha. But I thought there is no way I can find anything, anywhere that I can find Ganesha statue. So I happened to pass by LA Temple, And I thought maybe I can go there and I'll find it. So when I went there, and this was the first time ever that I went to a Hindu temple, I went there and I told them that I want to, I'm interested in Ganesha. And then they said, okay, just come in. I went to Galleria, and while I was searching to the Ganesha temple, Ganesha statue, and looking at Rudrashkas and everything, I was also actually introduced to the deities over there that I was just amazed. They were like so radiant, so big, and they were like speaking to me. So that was the first time I actually saw Hindu deities in a temple. And so while I was looking at the Ganesha, suddenly, all of a sudden, I felt the presence, and I felt that the world stopped. Like everything stopped around me. So I turned around and I see this beautiful being in orange dress with long black hair, and I was just frozen. I was stunned. I didn't know what was that. I actually thought that was one of the deities that I saw in previously, and that took me to a different dimension. I didn't know if it was a dream or if it was a reality. So that being actually came in, and he was passing slowly, and he was looking at, it was just passing slowly, passed by me, and I just didn't know what was going on at that point. Like I said, I was like in a dream. When he left, then I asked, who was that being? And the lady in the Galleria, she said, that was Swamiji. And I asked her, what is Swamiji? Because I never heard of that. And she started explaining me, but I couldn't understand at that time. Then after that, the experience was so intense, I was just having these flashbacks. So that was the first time I met His Holiness Paramahamsa Sri Nithyananda Swamiji, and that was the most intense experience I would say I had. And later on, when I saw his YouTube videos, but I didn't know at that time it was him, and every moment, I wouldn't miss any satsang of Swamiji. I would watch it morning, evening, then again. And I was watching all of his satsang because he was speaking to me. He was just directly speaking to me. Everything he said sounded so true. So then when I went to his old videos and I saw the same being that I saw in 2009, and I connected, and I was shocked. I was like, wow, this is actually the being that had so much impact on me. And since then, everything started. So that was my first, that's my favorite experience, that my first video, the best video that I feel like I ever made. So being in YouTube Ananda Yoga program, I feel like this took my connection to Swamiji to a completely different level, because I feel like it reminds me every moment, every day, what my life's purpose is. And it took the enriching and causing to the next level, and I feel like we can reach to millions of seekers out there through media, through YouTube, who don't know about Swamiji, and they want to find out. We can bring them over here and actually let them know that there is Shiva himself in human form. And once they find out, I feel this is my life mission. So it actually reminds me and strengthens my connection to Swamiji. And my most viewed video is the YouTube video that I made about Rajiv Malhotra and Swamiji's interview. I liked that interview, and it spoke to me. And I just made a video about it, my take on just a portion of it, which is Shaktinipada, or quantum entanglement. How, there are millions of seekers out there who are not physically here, but they still connect with His Holiness through the media, through TV. And I was talking about that once you're in oneness, once you feel that quantum entanglement, or like Swamiji calls it, Shaktinipada, then that screen disappears. And so a lot of people were able to relate to that, and a lot of people, actually commented. So that would be my actually most viewed video. And I'm so grateful to Swamiji and that I'm here right now and I'm able to share my experiences. Thank you very much.
What I love so much about Jessica's experience is that her very first time ever entering a Hindu temple, after being attracted to Ganesh without knowing why, she saw Swamiji for the first time just casually passing through the Galleria where she was looking at deities. What I love so much about this story is that her first impression, the first thought she had, or the first cognition she had, was not who is this person, but who is this being. And she was telling us so beautifully in her first YouTube video that the moment he moved in, she thought he was literally one of the deities who had just stepped down from the Garbha Mandir to interact among us, as she explained here today. And I really feel like her experience sums up who Swamiji actually is. A lot of people might get the impression that he's a human being, but really I think blessed are those who see him for the first time as Sadashiva himself. Next, I would like to invite Jaina, who has a very nice experience to share about her Akashic record reading.
Nithyananda, I'm Jaina from Singapore. Before I share about my Akashic reading, just touch on about how I come about meeting Swamiji. Basically, I meet Swamiji only this much. I actually get to know him because somebody at a Heart, Mind and Body Festival has came and talked with me. Her name is Madhuga, if you have remember her. She is actually really causing me to make things happen for me with Swamiji. So that happened in March, and then after that, when I get to see Swamiji for the first time in the Murti at the exhibition in the booth, I was also looking at, who's this person? I really have no idea. He looked kind of weird for me with all this kumkum and all the different jewelry on his Murti image. So now as I look back, in fact, as a child, in my childhood day, if I do pass by a Hindu temple in Singapore, I don't even dare to step in because of the deities and all is really dark and the images is mostly blue in color. It's quite scary for a child. So right now I'm here in Swamiji's presence in space. I've actually break through all of this. I even hug all the deities where the banyan tree is and all, going close and embracing. All these different things has really come through a big time for me. So then of course it went on to the YouTube viewing. After I met Swamiji, there's nothing in the middle of the month, and it started YouTube viewing in June all the way to July. I watched like 60 YouTube non-stop. Reason being because at that time I met somebody that was kind of toxic. It's a male body that actually came to me and showing up all the love, the pleasing, the great words, the beautiful, sweet talk, everything. This is something most women want to have in their life, but somehow or other I have this layer of clarity that this is not it. There's something not right here. But there's a lot of pain coming out and triggers and unsettlement of feelings. So because of Swamiji YouTube, it actually helped me to stay stable. And his YouTube just speak to me. So each time I watch his YouTube, it got me into my grounding, that I didn't go for this so-called toxic relationship that I didn't see at that time. In fact, I went through a few, but this one is like, I've went through a few and completed, but this is like a big one, like really coming like a tsunami. It's really beautiful. The packaging is so nice that you can't even avoid it. So that was the big reason that I need some answers within me, and ended up me signing up for IA, of course, in September. And at the time, I really have no idea how I'm going to pay for the fee and how I'm going to relieve myself from my job. The time is all tied up in a day job with a developer company, a construction company. They're very tight with timeline. There's no way I can take my leave to come to the IA. So in the intention form, all these obstacles, like, you know, is it time that's stopping you, the money, the relationship, all that. I tick 4 of them. 4 is all in the way. Somehow or other, the intention I put in was really strong. It just come through one by one and clear off. With September, there's a lot of support and help from my Sangha people, I want to say, and I want to thank them in this moment. Deep gratitude to them. They have really come together and caused me to make the IA happen for me. So that I want to thank them. Now I'm going to the Akashic reading now. So as I come into Swamiji's space, this ashram is so huge. I'm so impressed. The minute I walk in, there's hectares of land. I say, wow, I don't even know what am I getting myself into. So day by day, the 21 days has gone through really fast, doing incompletion processes. It was huge for me, and I've gone through the mirror process, staring at it and all that. So in the middle of, I think on the second week of the program, that's where Akashis happened. It's where Swamiji initiated all his balasans on the Akashi records reading power. So all of us in IA graduates were so excited. We were queuing non-stop, every day looking forward to do this Akashi reading. As we understand from Swamiji, Akashi reading is like a cosmic movie that you have your past, present, and future all shown up already in the cosmic records in the golden words. So when you go and ask each time, in whatever question you ask in the moment, there will be an answer for us. So I say, this is so amazing. It's like you just have to ask a question and it will show up in the moment for you. So it's a large canvas with everything's already happened. But in our own mind, we're thinking, are you sure this is the answer? I don't think so. And we still keep doubting it. So Karavirava, it's now I get to understand and connect with. Only recently, I would want to say, especially now that I'm in this 3 months, Nithyananda Yogam, 3 months, I get more connection. Now, back to the time when experiencing Akashi reading, I can see there's this growing, I call it addiction, because you just can't stop yourself from going to ask all the questions to get clarity about my parents, my siblings, all the situations, the challenge in my life. I won't go into detail. So all these give me clarity. As I get clarity, the expansion in my inner space start to grow also. Somehow you feel the strength and even more groundedness to be able to come up with solution for the question that we have in our own life because of the clarity that Akashi has helped us. So then I want to touch on, so right now, because I want to say I have done the Paramashivoham, also it's because of Akashi reading. What happened is when I went back after September IA, there was 1.5 month break period, which I have no time to do much at Sangha. I was running around like crazy, going back to my job. The Maya metric thing is catching me like a greed. So when Swamiji was sharing about, you guys have to come out of Maya metric, you know, this thing cannot be continuing on and on. Your soul is really withering, you know, like dying. This is something like in my own understanding. So I know already, because all these years I'm looking for a way. I'm also like a seeker, always looking, how do I come out of this suffering and all this to be absolute. So in Swamiji's space, I understand there's an absolute, which is the Akashi reading. So I didn't give up. In 1.5 months, I really want to do Paramashivoham. This is what I want to share. What happened is throughout the 1.5 months, only the last 2 weeks, I say I have to make it happen no matter what. So the Akashi reading was happening in a 2-way conferencing. I make sure I showed up. Almost all of the Akashi reading there was held in our local Sangha, Singapore. It was around 6 to 7 Akashi. It keeps showing up that, Ma, you're going to be there. How the Balasan call, tell us, Ma, you're going to be there. It's happening. Just hold your intention. Do not give up. And I told myself, yes, not to give up. I didn't see the money. I didn't see the time it's going to be released because I just took 21 days leave that was in September IA, and now I'm going to take another 21 days. I don't see how it can happen. Somehow or other, there was a courage after the third Akashi reading, how do you say, I would put it as a blow of courage that made me put in a resignation letter and resign from my job that's giving me all to pay the bills and all that. I just went for it. So after the fact, then I went back to Akashi. I said, I did this action. Is it aligned with my being going for Paramashivoham? It says, yes, Ma, all being taken care of. Just do the Paramashivoham without any fear. And I did it. So that bit I went through. And then the money didn't show up too. I was like, okay, now the fee. How do I manifest this? Continue to stay in the space. Ask more Akashi reading. And they say, Ma, the money's coming. I say, when? They say, it's coming. I say, next week. So the very next weekend, there was a Gabbar session from Vidadi, and I was doing the two-way. I hold my gaba and then put in the intention strongly, and then did all the process that I need to do. And this is what happened. In the moment on that day, 22nd November, I still remember, somebody came to me and said, I see that you really, really want to do your program, and this is something I can feel it. You're really in a space. You really want to do it so much. Because somebody of my family didn't want to go for the program, I'm going to give it to you. The fee is going to come for you. And that's it happened, just like that. So that was huge for me. In the moment, every single cent, I was like, wow. So this is something I want to share. Do not give up. If Akashi says something that you think you cannot accept and embrace it, just continue to stay in the space. Trust it, have faith, feel it, because it's a cosmic movie already there. So there's one more thing I remember what Swamiji said. If any one of us that want to expand for a higher being and a higher elevation of your presence and being to grow as an individual soul, cosmic will never deny you. So if you're on that journey, you're on that understanding, on that clarity, it will happen. And it has happened for me. And for that, I want to thank that person that actually got me to Paramashivoham. Without hesitation, she just dropped the money and helped me and go through it. She knows who she is. I'm not going to mention the name. She said, don't mention my name anyway. So I'll just say it as that, and I'll put it out in the light to show my gratitude. And again, last few days, I was doing Akashi again. One more last moment I want to share before I complete with this sharing. Okay, so I asked about business, because I asked Akashi, I've been working for 20 over years in the biometric world, corporate jobs, churning and turning. On the side, I'm practicing dance and also life skill as a coach. I don't do it full time. I do it freelance basis. I have 8 to 9 paying clients, but I never start. I never continue. It's because there's still a lot of instability, uncertainty, and insecurity. Being a coach, if you do not ground yourself, you can't coach others strongly. So this is something I've been always seeking to ground myself more. Now I'm in this space, I felt like it's all possible. Because, again, Akashi reading has said, Ma, this is the way you want to do it. The job, you can do for a while, but you have to drop it eventually. So it gave me strength. And of all the different questions I asked, when should I start, where should I start, and all that, they even told me I'm going to travel around the world to teach dance. So this is exciting for me. They even give me the country to start. 3 countries in the front earlier time and 3 at the back. So I just touch on the first 3 first. First 3 will be Bali, Hong Kong, and USA. So I said, wow, is this really going to be real? So USA, I said, where? USA, you know, so big, right, USA. Then they go on and look again at the Akashi record and come back to me and say, Houston, like that. Boom. I'm like, Houston? I've never been to Houston. So I don't know how that's going to happen. If it happens, I believe it will happen. I'll just let it brew its pot and it's going to happen. So I said, which one to start first? Bali, Hong Kong, and Houston? I said, Bali. I said, okay, Bali. Okay, that's very near. I've been to Bali. I'm quite familiar. That will not be too much of an issue. I said, when I'm going to start? He said, May this year. Wow. I'm like, May? After the 3-month yoga program, then I go home, then May. My brain just couldn't comprehend. But all this is all happening. So I'm just saying again, because of Akashi record, it gave me the clarity to match up with the vision, working backwards in a way, so to speak. Then you can take the right action without a doubt. In clarity, I think everything can happen for us. So again, it's creating the possibilities of possibilities. So I'm going to work towards that. That is something that I feel that it's grounding me even further. So thank you for hearing me, sharing about Akashi record. Thank you.
So like Jaina said, when Kala Bhairava reveals something through the Akashic record, even if it seems too good to be true and we can't imagine how it's going to happen, all we really need to do is keep holding that space and wait to be amazed. Next, I would like to invite Raj.
Nithyananda. Actually, today I wasn't here to talk, but I remember that exactly 1 year ago I learned about Swamiji. Yeah. And I was surfing through YouTube and I saw this video of Yoga Mata and then they were talking about some Swami Bangalore. I said, who this guy now? And I searched and then I found Swamiji. I was very skeptic and I thought, okay, I know a lot of Swamis. I mean, YouTube is filled with Swamis and all gurus. But it happened to be that I, in a jokey manner, was able to attend a webinar in Belgium on wealth. It was around 22nd, 23rd of February, January last year. And nothing really, I mean, I remember we all had to sit in this room and somebody just talking and they said, okay, it's going to be meditation now. We all have to put our eye bands. And during the meditation, I got touched. I was crying actually. I mean, it was nothing I used to really do so often. So on the way back, I was totally alone in his car, and I had to drive from Belgium to Netherlands, where I live actually. And then the whole thing blew up, and I was crying. And I don't know. I said, "There's nobody now to question me about myself." That happened. That brought me to the first IA I did in February this year, and from that time onwards, I mean, I've been with Swamiji in February IA, then I was in Kumbh Mela, and I was again here in July. Then I was invited for Nithyananda Yogam program, and then Paramashivoham 2016. If I see myself now, how I was exactly 1 year ago, it's a big change. The biggest change is that I've lost the connectivity to reality as I used to have. It's subtle. I mean, I see everything, but I have no questions anymore. Everything's okay, you know. And it's like you are lightly drugged and in kind of love with everything. And I enjoy it very much. And actually, my program ended on the 1st of January, so I was around 10 days gone here. So I was in northern states of India, in Himachal, and I do a lot of biking. And I traveled through a lot of land, and I met people, did healing work, and everything was in totally different frequency. And all this time I was missing something, like subtle hunger, and I was thinking myself, what is it now? And I found that I was missing Swamiji. I mean, oneness can grow in many ways. You can run after somebody. It grows within you. That's the beauty out of it. And now, before I went, there was a session going on with power manifestations with length, breadth, and depth. And I was sitting with Bala Sense. I never sat so close to them. And there were now 4 of us surrounding me. And I found through that process, I got like erosion was happening within me about the subject local I, me, who I am, which I understand very well through Swamiji, that it doesn't matter at all. And this is just something I have prepared myself to identify myself. And I used to say that I'm a company owner in Netherlands, but I have a bigger title than that. I'm a proud disciple of Bhagwan Paramahamsa Nithyananda. Thank you, Swamiji, for changing me. I don't know where the journey is going to go, but it's certainly very beautiful, and I'm enjoying it. Thank you.
What a beautiful experience. So I think I speak for all of us when I can say to Raj, happy anniversary. A lot of people will ask, what's the practical value of having a guru? And after hearing someone share like this, we can say for sure it's something way beyond what can be summed up with the words practical value. The fact that after just 1 year, he's saying that he no longer sees life or the world the way he used to. And in fact, now there are no questions and no worries. Everything is good. Everything's all right. I think that in just 1 year's time, that is beyond remarkable. So thank you so much for sharing. Next, I have a very special treat for all of us. A Balasant of the Nithyananda Gurukul who is manifesting Shaktis and ready to share about the Shaktis and also about her own experience, what the Akashic Records revealed for her. Ma Nithya Maheshwarananda.
Nithyananda. My name is Ma Nithya Maheshwarananda and I'm a Balasan from the Nithyananda Gurukul. Today I am going to share my experience on what the Akashic readings told me and what Kalabhairava revealed to me. So all the Balasans got an opportunity to ask Kalabhairava what was our past life and what we're going to be in the future. And as curious as I was, I went up and I asked one of the Balasans sitting there, and I asked them, what is my past life? What connection did I have with Swamiji? And the Balasans looked at the Murti, and she said that you were connected with the divine and were manifesting all the Shaktis. And the very special thing that I had was that I was always close to Swamiji, and whenever he used to have casual sittings with his disciples or give satsangs, I always used to be sitting next to him, and he used to be talking about the great spiritual masters who used to manifest all the powers and what an experience they used to have. So I always used to wonder at that time that they're all able to manifest Shaktis, why can't I do it? And one day Swamiji called me in my past life and he said, it is a Guru Vak now that you have to manifest all the powers and radiate me throughout the world. So that's when the decision in me at that point of time came in that yes, because it is a Guru Vak, I have to manifest Shaktis. And from that day onwards, I started manifesting Shaktis. And whenever Swamiji used to give any power, he just used to tell, okay, manifest this power. And I would immediately manifest that without any question. And even in my past life, I wasn't able to comprehend it. So that was the past life. Then I asked, what am I going to do in the future? And Kalabhairava said that when you decide clearly with integrity that you're going to manifest all the powers for Sadashiva, and just remember that it is Sadashiva who's doing everything and not you, you will start manifesting all the Shaktis like how you were before, and you will go out and globally enrich the whole world to come and be with Swamiji and to make them also radiate and manifest all the Shaktis of Sadashiva. So I was really excited that, now I have such a bright future that why do I not jump and take the leap and just melt in Sadashiva and just radiate throughout the world. So, and also as an Akashic reader, I can say that when Kalabhairava just lands into the whole, like the stage area where we're sitting, it feels like a completely different person is sitting inside you. You might think that you're the one doing it and all that, but once you come down from the stage, once you just bow down to Swamiji and just get up, you completely forget everything of what even happened. You don't remember the questions, you don't remember even the people who came to you. So it's a very different space. You might think that it's you who's doing it, but actually I can say even when I look at myself telling the people what their answer is, I can see that my body language is different and the way the answers come out or anything that is happening is always from a completely different space from what I normally am. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share. Nithyananda.
What a beautiful past and a beautiful future and a beautiful present that Ma Maheshwara is enjoying. And what a treat it is for all of us to hear just how these Balasants are manifesting the Shaktis And I think for all of us, it's something just so awe-inspiring to consider how far into the ancient past all of us have been together and all of these happenings have been going on. Last today, but certainly not least, Raj had mentioned that he first came to know Swamiji through a YouTube video that really went viral. That video features Ma Nithya Yoga Matananda sharing a cool superpower. So I'm excited to introduce Ma Yogamata to all of us here today to share her experience with the Akashic Records.
Nithyananda, my name is Ma Yogamata. I'm from the Nithyananda Gurukul. So today I want to share my experience in the Akashic readings and also what I was in my past birth and my future. So we had, around a month ago, we had an opportunity to ask what is our past and our future. So when I went and asked what is my past, what Kalvira told me is I lived in Madurai, and at the age of 12 I had the vision and experience of Lord Meenakshi and Sundareshwara. So out of that ecstasy, I got physically teleported to Kailash, and when I got physically teleported to Kailash, that time I had a darshan of all the gods and goddesses that are there in the cosmos. All the gods and goddesses came down just for me to give the darshan, and all the powers and shaktis which they had to put into that body that I was in that birth. So that time, when all the gods and goddesses came down, they gave me the powers and their bio-memory, muscle memory and bioenergy into that body. And that time, my mom was there in that life and in her current life right now. And that time she was like praying for a child. That time Kalvera came and told me, in that birth Kalvera told, it is time for you to leave this body and go to take a new body. I am giving you the boon to always retain these shaktis, and anytime you want to manifest shaktis in this birth which I am currently, I will be able to manifest the shaktis immediately when Swamiji says. If Swamiji says me to materialize, I'll be immediately being able to materialize. So any power that Swamiji wants me to do, I'll be immediately able to grasp a power and be able to manifest that. So what my future is, Kalvera told that I'll be a great power manifester and I'll be going all around the world and being able to manifest these Shaktis. And also Swamiji told me that I'll be a very high authority person in the US, like the president. Thank you for listening to my...
You know, sometimes people talk about what's going to give hope for the future. I think this is beyond hope for the future. This is excitement and anticipation for the future. I can't wait to see the Balasants rule the world. So I'm glad you all joined us today for these very exciting sharings. And as I'm sure you are, I'm also looking forward to hearing more. Now I'm looking around this hall wondering who has everyone been, what has everyone done, and what can we look forward to next? Nithyanandam. Om. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Satguru Padukarpanamastu. Om Nithyanandam.
மலிவளம் சுரக்க மன்னன் கோன்முறை அரசு செய்ய குறையிலாது உயிர்கள் வாழ்க நான் மறை அறங்கள் ஓங்க நற்றவம் வேள்வி மல்க மேன்மை கொள் சைவ நீதி விள